like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Look, y'all already know reckless. We're reckless, but we really couldn't be reckless earlier. Jesus, I know, Mr. Z, you done pushed that time back all the way. I know. My apologies, everyone. My apologies. Right? Y'all already know. Let's read this from Saint Cyr now. Mr. Z could find it, and there we go. And Saint Cyr says, "It's all good, Z. You're a real one for even streaming recklessly. Hashtag reckless tax. Reckless tax is definitely in effect, but we couldn't do it earlier. Look, yesterday, y'all already know. For those of you that don't know, Mr. Z got kind of caught up. I was on BGS's stream, so that kind of threw us off of the stream last night. And then today, yeah, not gonna incriminate myself, but yeah, y'all already know how this goes. So without further ado, once again, fair use, fair use, fair use. Shout out to the brother who asked for this stream. As a matter of fact, okay, I want to make sure. It was Roosh Beggy. My apologies, y'all. So yeah. So shout out to you. Thank you for the super chat. And this stream is for you. So once again, fair use, fair use. So we're gonna be covering Kamal Bell and Sibo Campbell in a conversation they had on what channel is that? What channel is that? Baldwin and Co. Baldwin and Co. Baldwin and Co. Yes. Um, named after James Baldwin, y'all already know. Baldwin and Co. And it's in the title. Y'all will see why Mr. Z. The title is just, oh, okay. Missing the blindingly obvious, right? For those of you who checked out the link already, y'all already know why Mr. Z said this. Shout out to you, Roosh. I got exactly what you were saying. Once it got to that, as a matter of fact, I listened to the whole thing. So it put it in the context why this title is what it is. So this is what Mr. Z is gonna do. So fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. And so we're gonna play this way so y'all can get it, right? So y'all gonna hear something twice, but I'm gonna do it like this for a reason. This is on purpose, right? Okay. So once again, fair use, and here we go, y'all.
Want to be?
Let me ask you this. I'll pose this question to you. In the event you had something dramatic happen in the country, and you had to find a black lady to get behind, is it anybody that's currently walking that you're like, I trust that this person has a vision for the future that both includes me and it would step us towards a better reality.
Put it this way. I have several people. They're all black women.
Talk about it.
It would be like, I would trust a council it just have to be the things I want to think of. The black women who I know who are doing the work are always thinking about it intersectionally, yes, in a way that the rest of people, everybody else is sort of having to do sort of like consciously.
That's my fundamental belief. We're not going to argue this point.
But like fundamental, not that I don't think there are black men who couldn't do it, but I just don't think I think it is just, we've never turned it over fully to black women. And I would be happy to turn it over.
I think there are two things. One, I've always been of the belief that the country needs a matriarch. Like my family and all the families that I grew up with, even if the matriarch wasn't the breadwinner, that's who we all gathered around. You mean, right?
And there, yeah. What about the money? That's like American capitalism. Don't you think that if you make the money, like you're most important?
No.
It's no. That's the person who figures out what do we do with this and how do we split up these resources. That's not always the person who makes the money.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the person who takes the whole line of you and helps you move forward. And so I agree with you. In the book I just wrote, when they reach the utopia or mobile, it's the queen.
I gotta read this book.
You gotta read. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, oh, they really are on Dover Street.
Yeah.
But
have you been to Mobile?
Of course.
Okay, you said you've been raised. That's right.
That's right. He says. But the whole thing is a council of women.
Yeah.
And the queen runs it. And even the king, when he's confronted by someone, he goes, "Have you ever played chess? The strongest thing on the board is the queen. It's not the king. Yeah. Go talk to her." And it's all about operating like you gathered around the matriarch.
So for me, when I think about this Black Council, the person who's at the head of the table is Professor Kimberly Crenshaw.
All right.
Because literally the one of the scholar who sort of came up with, who sort of concretized the idea of intersectionality, legal scholar. She also was one of the people who was there in the room when they were saying critical race theory and as a legal practice, not as a boogeyman that is turned into. But she is somebody who thinks intersectionally easily about all this stuff. Like for example, there was the religious figure who sort of like spoke to Trump after the inauguration was like basically saying you can't be so like you have to lead through more kindness. And, and I ran to her, Professor Crenshaw, she was like, all that, everybody was celebrating this person, understandably. And she was like, all that she said, she never talked about racism, or she sort of pointed out the things that she didn't say. I was like, you're making a good point. So like, and I think that she would, if I put her, if she just was in charge of the whole country, she would then assemble the people. If she wanted some dudes, she could get some dudes, but like, I would put her in the driver's seat. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I like I said, I completely agree. I did not know who she was until you just said that name.
Really? Well, first of all, high five to you for, I'm big of admitting not knowing anything. So Professor Kimberly Crenshaw, she is the person who was like, did critical race studies with Derek Bell, and was the person who's credited with coming up with the concept of intersectionality as a legal term of like black women in the law are experiencing things as black women, not because they're black and because they're a woman, but because they're collectively a black. Black woman means different than something that is as a collective, just between a black and a woman.
There was a paper written, I want to say it was in maybe like 60s or 70s, called the Combahee River.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And it was basically that. It was like the experience of being black and the experience of being woman. Each of those things are distinct and you need to have a position. And it suggested that the elevation of that position elevates everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think that that if what's good for black women is good for America.
Can we put that on a slogan?
We can't. I mean, we just did. I think we just, yeah, fine with me. That's t-shirts, these slogans. Yeah. So I think that that until this country sort of understands that it's not where, we are, I think it's certainly made complicated. Like, I also was like, when Kamala Harris was running for president, there's my lefty chats about normie Democrat, not significantly better on Palestine than the Republicans are. And then there's my black women who are like, we have to rally. Yeah. We have, no matter what. Biden needs to know. And I to be honest with you, I sort of lived on both sides on that one because I was like, yeah, listen, yeah. I want it. Yes. I'm going to eat these greens, even though they got ham in it. Eat greens, but I'm only doing it one time. Right. I'm only doing it on this one Tuesday in November, and then we got to talk about getting the ham outside of my greens. No, for sure. I was.
Listen, black men, not all of us are going to survive. Not all of us get it. Not all of us appreciate it. Not all of us, even for those of us who have white wives, Kamal Bell, who used to have white wives, Sibo Campbell, who now have a mixed wife. Huh? Oh, y'all don't get what Mr. Z is saying. Okay, wait a minute.
I mean, so I was working on a project, it still may happen, but about the integration of the Boston public schools. And one of the things I came away with from reading about it, doing the research, was like, and this is funny, as a black man married to a white woman, and so this may come off, but like, it's funny, but it's just the way, should integration have been the goal? Because when you talk about like, and black people of a certain age, let's say black people over the age of 60 at this one probably, can remember a time when their black neighborhood had its own black downtown with its own black businesses, where you went to the shoe shop that was owned by this black person, and you went to the grocery store that was the neighborhood grocery store that was not a chain, and everything they needed was in their neighborhood, like when my mom grew up. So you didn't have to go to the white area town. So you didn't have to go to the white businesses because it was all in your neighborhood. And that meant that you got to see black people who were business owners, black people who were thriving. The problem is that the school is funded by property taxes. And because of redlining, the black property is not worth as much, even if it's basically the same as the white property. So the schools aren't funded that well. And so then they say, we're going to send you to the white schools. And you go to the white schools and find out, this is what happened in Boston. They end up sending black kids in the worst neighborhoods to the worst white schools in the worst white neighborhoods. And so not only is this school maybe worse than your school, you're also getting your ass kicked every day. So it's like, can I just go back to my old school? At least those teachers liked me. You know what I mean? At least I could walk home every day instead of getting on a bus. And so for me, the question becomes, integration was the goal because they assumed that with integration came equity or came equality. And that's not what happened.
Do you think that that's that the idea of focusing on the development of sort of the centralization of black communities is a thing that we should be moving towards now?
Yeah. So like I said, I did a lot. There's a school in Boston. Again, I know a lot about this Boston thing, but I haven't been to the school yet, but I want to go. There's a school it is a private school where for black boys, where the black boys go to school for free. So it is functioning as a private school, but it's all done through fundraising and donations. So these kids don't have to pay to the school. And I absolutely think there is a reason that you may want your black boy to go to a school with just black boys. Yeah. I absolutely, 100%. And I also believe in non-binary trans. So I'm not saying that but I get you may have a black boy, and I've seen my kids, I have all girls, and I've seen how black boys at their school are treated differently because they're black boys. And I was also a black boy who went to private schools and public schools, and we go to was at a Catholic school, and my teacher was like, and there's 2 black kids in the class in my Catholic school in Mobile, Alabama, same class. Teacher goes, "Come on, you're always standing up, walking around. I always see you walking around. Sit down." And I go, "But he's standing, she's standing." I pointed a bunch of white kids. That teacher grabbed me, the only time we grabbed me was and I was just suddenly shocked. I was suddenly in physical danger from this teacher because I was pointing out the obvious.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so I totally get why, as a black parent of a black boy, being in place that black boys are politically in this country, that you'd be like, I want to send my kid to all school with black boys because they're going to treat him as an individual and also prepare him for the fact that the world is not just this school.
And frankly, while we're talking about centralized in America, if he ever leaves this country, we'll feel similar things, no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
And you need to carry that with him.
It's that Black History Month is going to mean something different at a school with Black boys
Yes.
than it means at a school, in an integrated school.
I mean, I have this affinity for the 60s.
So, Kamal Bell, tall, big, darker skinned black man who looked like he went through something traumatic as a black boy from a white teacher. I'm assuming a white teacher, some type of female teacher, but white teacher assuming, appreciates the uniqueness and the, dare I say it, intersection of black male, right? Of black and male. With that, he missed the form. Yikes. Yikes. So, why are we stressing this here? It's so obvious. They're missing the blindingly obvious. Roosh, they're missing the blindingly obvious. Not all black men get it. They don't get it, even though they're not even married to a black woman. Kamal, you're not married to a black woman. I know why you ain't married to a black woman. Oops. Huh? Sibo, you weren't married to a black woman. Now you're with a mixed woman, assuming she's mixed white and black. Your children are mixed. Kamal, you said you have only girls, which you have 4 girls, I think you said, something like that. So you have nothing but girls, and even with that, you appreciate that black males, black boys should have their own space because nobody else understands us. And the assumption there, which you didn't want to say, is also black women don't understand us. Well, damn. Cue up Black Uru from about 5-ish years ago saying this to Z. Z, what makes you assume that black women understand us? And he was right. Huh? Ah. Blindingly obvious, punching them in the face, and they still don't get it. Sibo over here talking about matriarch. Brother, if you really believed in matriarchy, then you would have been married to a black woman, an overbearing black woman. Light skin, dark skin, caramel, medium brown, Mariah Carey, super fair, damn near white. You would have been married to a black woman. Huh? And a black woman who couldn't even pretend on top of that. Your first wife, white. Your second wife, I'm assuming you're married, but you said your second woman, some type of mixed-ish. Uh-oh. Now, virtue signaling, I get it. Huh? Z definitely understands the virtue signaling, but your actions so differently to both of you. Your actions so differently. That sound nice. Huh? That sound nice. That's why them black women, especially darker skinned black women, began annoyed because brothers like you stay virtue signaling and they notice, wait a minute, you don't got a black wife. Yes, black women, because they can't actually be married to that. That overbearing matriarch, heavy-handed black matriarch. Yeah, nope. They know the virtue signal to it. Once again, Kamal and Sibo. And apparently Sibo's out of Florida. And Sibo was for his weight division, heavy lifter or power lifter or something like that for his weight division back in high school. Uh-oh. Don't let his mannerism fool you. For all of you that saw the video, you know his mannerism's a little, you know. Huh? Yikes. Huh? Well, Roosh, Mr. Z don't really know what much more to say. This was cut and dry for Z. Listen to the whole thing. You have 2 who would be considered somewhere on the left, black men, virtue signaling, and even if they weren't, you know what? Mr. Z actually thinks they truly believe what they say, but they can't be married to that though. Goddamn Z. Yeah, you know what? To be fair to them, I actually think they really mean it. I actually think Sibo really mean it. I actually think Kamal really mean it. But they can't be married to that though, goddamn. It sound nice in theory. It might even sound nice in practice, but they can't be married to that though. They can't be in the home with that though. Uh-oh. Huh? Yikes. Dr. Cornell West, another one. Shout out to Dr. Cornell West, getting him a fine West Asian woman. Oh, that sound nice. Anton said it. I want to say Medium Man might have said it or implied it when we were talking about Ebony K. Williams. Yeah, Ebony K. Williams, if you could get her to listen to you, she'll be a great employee. She'll be a great lead, right? She could get everybody together for you. She'll be great. Do you want to marry that? It's a different question. Do you want to be in a relationship with that? Intimate relationship with that? Shout out to all the black women who pretty much say we don't need to be likable to do our job. And white folks got something else to say about that one. Goddamn. Huh? Yikes. All that sound nice. And I think y'all really mean it. I just want to say that. I think y'all really mean it. I think y'all virtue signaling, but I think y'all really mean it. Dear black women, you have black men that truly want to see you running things. They bought into what you've been selling. They really think you are the moral high ground. You have the moral pedestal. You're on the moral high ground above everyone else in this society, including black men. They believe you. They bought into the hype. They believe you, and they still can't be with you intimately. Not like that. Not married. Maybe pipe. Not in no serious relationship. Maybe pipe. Huh? Huh? To hear Kamal speak on the plights of black males, just hear him speak on his own personal story of being grabbed up by a teacher, even though others were committing the same infraction, if it's even an infraction, as he was. To be singled out, once again, cue up the video D played on his channel where all the kids are acting the same in everyone's eyes. All the teachers' eyes are on the black boy, including the black female teacher's eyes on the black boy, waiting for him to act up. So if Kamal experienced that personally, if he can point that out, does Kamal appreciate that we did the intersectional thing? That's what was categorically rejected. Kamal, do you understand that? Kamal, do you understand Kimberly Crenshaw's intersectionality was resoundingly rejected in 2024? Do you appreciate that? Huh? Do you not appreciate that black women, just like Kimberly Crenshaw, have weaponized intersectionality to benign neglect the plights of black boys and black men? You know the same plight that you're describing? You know it was women like Kimberly Crenshaw that called in to Barack Obama. Yes, black women like Kimberly Crenshaw. I'm not saying she did. I'm saying women like her called in to the White House when Barack Obama was pushing my brother's keeper, and they said if we can't be shoehorned in, then there shouldn't be. Uh-oh. Because what you're talking about sound nice, but based off of your own personal experiences and your intimate life, yeah, that sound nice, but you ain't going. Huh? Sibo, you're speaking about matriarchy and matriarchs, and you think it should be the time for a matriarch. Yeah, Sibo, what about your own personal life? Because if you believe in matriarchy, you would definitely not have married a white woman. You would have been married to a black woman. You would have definitely been married to a black woman. You would have divorced her and married another black woman, or she would have divorced you. Let's be clear, as women divorcing men, definitely in the black community. Huh? All that sound nice, but based off of your own personal life, that y'all ain't going. This is why black women be so goddamn mad. Because there's brothers like Z that's like, I ain't going. From the jump, we say we ain't going. And then there's brothers like Kamal and Sibo who really mean it, but then when you look at their personal life, who really mean it, Dr. Cornell West, who really mean it, they really mean it. They really want a black woman as their second in command. They have no problem voting for black women. They promote black women. Funny enough, so do we over here. But guess what? We don't want nothing to do with them intimately. Goddamn. Not with that overbearing crap, that matriarchy crap sound nice. Not in my house. Uh-oh. Ain't that right, Sibo? Ain't that right, Kamal? Kamal, you're still married to the same woman, aren't you? Yeah. 4 girls on top of that. Yeah, and you still got your hair. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Oh, that sound nice. You need you a strong black woman so she could divorce me? Get out of here. Huh? So she could blame me for all her problems? Yeah, that's it. Huh? There's a number of brothers. We have a PhD that told us all these brothers, they be talking all that, and then they got African wives. Goddamn. Wives from the Caribbean. Oops. Non-black wives from overseas. Uh-oh. Because they really mean it until it comes to their intimate lives. Huh? They really mean it. I truly believe, especially on the left, these black men really mean it. Huh? They really mean what they say. They just can't be married to that. Uh-oh. Huh? They just can't be married to that. And Vince says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Vince says, they're coaching from the nosebleeds. Hysterical. Huh? Yikes. All that sound nice. It sounds encouraging. It sounds inspiring. It sounds uplifting. And once again, Mr. Z believes they truly believe that. They really mean it. They just can't be with that personally, not on a day-to-day. Huh? Not on a day-to-day. Huh? Wow. I'm reading through some of you guys' comments. Huh. Revelot said, and he married to a white woman. Man, scammer and grifters. Yeah, you know, he was speaking, Kamal was speaking about Get Out and how it hit too close to home and he didn't really care to watch it. He's not really a horror movie guy anyway, even though from my understanding, because Mr. Z still hasn't watched it either, that it hit too close to home. I bet it did. He's not really a horror movie guy either. And, you know, it was a bit heavy-handed. And his wife asked him if she should watch. He was like, eh. Huh? Yikes. And Trell says, turn it over. You just been running ish since the 1970s. Say that. He said running and ruining ish since the 1970s. Say that. Huh? They don't look. Some of the brothers, they out of step. So this goes to what KMS has said. They say this and they mean this, but yet the pain in the system, the dating, mating, marriage, childbearing system, particularly in the black community, there's too much pain in the system. So even when these men mean this politically, socially, intimately in their own lives, there's too much pain in the system and they don't wife those same women they think should be leaders. Those same black women, those Kimberly Crenshaw ass, highly educated black women, a Kamal Bell will not marry her. Neither will a Sibo. Huh? Now, that doesn't mean, and we've known this before, that, you know, George W. Bush is a man you can have a beer with. He seems like a man you can have a beer with. We appreciate that not all leaders will you want to be around. They may not be personable. They may not be likable. We get it. Huh? With that, there is something to be said about black men that speak like this, non-black men that speak like this, virtue signaling white liberal men that speak like this. And then when you see who they settle down with, who they marry, who they're in intimate relationship with, it ain't nothing like that, because to be frank, they can't be around that. Not in an intimate sense anyway. They might have a woman like that as a boss or an employee, but being around that on a day-to-day as a wife or a girlfriend, a baby mom, God forbid, nope. And Demetrius says, what's going on, Demetrius? And Demetrius says, I understand the concept. I think what Professor Curry touches on triggers people because of the fact that it's new and goes against perceived ideas. Yeah, no, I agree. Right? I agree. Huh. So I think we we have reached escape velocity, as Dr. T has said, definitely as I was about to say Dr. BGS, might as well, but as BGS has said, right? We have definitely reached escape velocity. With that, don't assume that everyone, and we know this in our own personal lives, don't assume that every black man is up on game. Conservative or liberal, independent, right? Doing well financially, maybe not doing so well financially. Don't assume that even with black men going through going through pain, don't assume that every black man is up on game and gets it, whether they're with a black woman or not. Huh? What's going on, Tunnel Runner? Thank you, thank you. He says, enjoy the day, my brothers. Right? Ah, see, Mr. Z didn't consider that. That's possible. And Minion says, um, Kamal strikes me as a dude who married a Karen just to get some of that quote unquote safe matriarchal domination. Where she gonna be running it, but she's still gonna play within the guidelines. She's still not gonna go too far. She's not gonna be cursing you out in the middle of in the middle of the grocery the milk aisle in the grocery store in front of everyone. Right? She's not gonna be condescending to you in front of your friends and coworkers. Right? Oh, that's something to say. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe to the super chat. And KMS says the FD signifier conundrum. I have no problems. Let's say it again. KMS says the FD signifier conundrum, quote, I have no problems with black women running things as long as they ain't running me, end quote. Ah, huh? Ah. No, I think we both said the same thing, KMS, and I agree with you 100%. FD looked like he run his family. Nothing about him seems like a pushover to me. I know many of us saw the clip with him and his wife speaking, and I think a bit of that was him virtue signaling. But I know I think it's serious. But the clip where him and his wife were speaking, and his wife was like, "Yo, sometimes she be ready for it. She be starting it. She says she knows that other people know better than to start an argument with her." And he was like, "Nah, I'll be ducking and dodging." And I get it. I get it. Right. But nothing about FD gives me pushover dad, pushover husband. Huh? I just want FD and Foreign Man and all these other brothers, low key, to tell y'all the truth, consciously don't look like he a pushover in his relationship either. I don't care what he say online. Same thing with Foreign Man and a Foreign Land. I don't believe none of these brothers. Look, man, Bahamian, I don't believe nothing he's saying when it comes to this bowing down, kissing black women's ass. He ain't pulling that with his wife, bro. I'm not saying he overbearing and abusive with that. Look, all that stuff sound nice. All that crap sound nice, man. They not really on that. I don't care what they say. Consciously is a debater, award-winning debater. I don't care what none of them say. They not letting they women run all of that. They could pull that crap on YouTube, get the algorithm going, get some money. Yeah, that sound nice. Get black women as supporters, huh? Yeah, consciously tell them to kiss our ass. Because I just want y'all to appreciate that's how black women register it, because, well, that's how y'all saying it. Oops. Now, when you look, I guarantee you follow them around in their personal life for about a month, and you be like, man, yeah, you know, but on that for real? Because they're not. Huh? Yikes. Huh? They're not really on that. And you can't be a black man and try to hold a family together in America and be that. So that's how I know they BSing. Huh? That's how I know they're BSing. You're not gonna be a black man in these United States. God forbid have children, a son, and just be willy-nilly all pushover and soft around your wife and your kid. Get out of here. Yeah, that's it. Don't believe it. Huh? So yeah, I agree with KMS on that. I have no problem with black women running things as long as they ain't running me. Huh? All that sound nice. And Demetrius says, for instance, I had a profound convo on TikTok about black men not in college, and I highlighted that one idea that black men and women have a one-on-one to experience with racism was exposed in the 1990s, part one. I think you got a part two coming. Wait a minute. What's the second part? Oh, and then I highlighted a study done in 2014 that proves the opposite, and they couldn't accept it. Part two. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, this is where intersectionality comes in. I don't know, Demetrius, if you checked out my stream about a PhD from, when did I do that? Saturday? Was that Saturday stream or was that a Sunday stream? That was a Saturday stream. Check. It's 9 hours long, but you don't really got to go through the whole 9 hours though. And then BGS covered that same PhD yesterday. Kim Foster also, and I forgot to say this to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson and BGS yesterday when I was on the panel. Kim Foster pretty much said this, and the PhD Dr. Tynes, if you listen to her when she was saying the ultimate victim, this is what they're getting at. And I agree with BGS where like, yo, we will throw black men under the bus. Like, don't throw us out. Dear white men, dear elites, don't throw us out. Don't put the thumb on the scale for the men and the boys. Definitely not black men and black boys within the black community. Kim Foster kind of gave up the ghost. I think she's well aware, whether she has her ears to the political streets or not, she does, that the tide is turning and black men are going to possibly be able to get some justice, a little bit, a teeny tiny bit, with the reordering, maybe of the social contract in America, possibly, and what that's going to mean for black women. And so Kim Foster almost blatantly said, yo, I don't like the way this is sounding. It looked like y'all about to switch it up on women, and it's going to leave black women out in there in the lurch. She pretty much said that, which is kind of what Dr. Tynes was getting at too, towards the end of her, I guess, lecture that I covered the other day. These women see it coming. And I got to cover this. So finally, I got to cover this too. And I might link that to Kim Foster and link that to Dr. Tynes, Jasmine Crockett, and when she was speaking about DEI on the Congress floor, right? These are women that are in the know. And they're all going about saying it slightly differently. Like, please, white man, please don't kick us out. Please don't kick us out. Jasmine Crockett was a little bit more blatant about saying, please don't kick us out. where hmm, Kim Foster was a bit more arrogant with it, and Dr. Tynes was a bit more antagonistic towards black men in particular with it. But they're all saying the same thing. We're the ultimate victims. Don't kick us out. Don't leave us. Don't abandon us. Don't abandon us. The black men, please don't. Once again, Jasmine Crockett wasn't particularly going at the don't leave us with black men angle. That's not the angle that she was going with. But the please, white man, don't leave us out here with no jobs, no nothing. Don't bring us back to the 1950s and 40s with it. That was Jasmine Crockett's angle. Either way, all these women have put their finger to the wind and see which way it's blowing, and they're like, oh crap. Now Jasmine Crockett is a politician, so her oh crap and what she's attempting to do, right, to alleviate what she know coming down the pike is different than a Kim Foster and a Dr. Tynes. Right? They're all going to go about it a little different. With that, they all saying, oh crap. Huh? Well, y'all decided to be the mascot for antagonistic feminism. Sassy ass feminism. In your face feminism. And society was perfectly okay with you doing that to black men while you destroy your own community. But once white women started doing it a teeny tiny bit, and once black women started losing your minds and doing that to white boys and young white men on college campuses and university campuses, all is a wrap. And we're here now. JD Vance. Huh? JD Vance got something for that ass. Huh? Yikes. And Kamal Bell and Sibo Campbell are just out of the loop. They out of the loop. And I would argue, for the most part, they represent far more black men than we would like to admit to in the black manosphere. Huh? We still have an upward climb. Yes, there are black men going through things. And as Dr. T was saying the other day, it was a brother, kind of hood brother, that he heard or he saw, I think, a clip of in court, and he's trying to put the words together. I've said this before, most black men don't interact with any manosphere or black manosphere concepts. So they still being hit, they still being T-boned by the 18-wheeler when they go through it with their ex-wife or with their baby mama, with their girlfriend. So while we're in advanced math over here, those folks are still doing basic math and they get hit upside the head with it. Or for it, better yet. Huh? And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. KMS says, as a married black man to a black woman with a son and daughter, I'll use this axiom. Other women let you pimp. Black women make you pimp. Extrapolate that out, and that's why I think FD is full of ish. Yeah. Yeah. I do think that. I do think when you look at, because we saw the clip, and I'm not gonna go too personal with him and his lady speaking, his wife speaking, and once again, I just don't believe FD is no pushover. I just don't see it, right? Especially with the arrogance. And FD, I heard that little slick ass comment you said when you was like, these brothers gonna be like, who is FD? Who are you? And I'm FD. FD, I said it again. If you're listening, FD, nothing you're saying means anything if you can't get black men or somebody to subsidize black women, especially with what's coming down the pike now. All that you, Kim Foster, hey, Jasmine Crockett at least had the ovaries to go to Congress and start begging and pleading because she know what's coming. Jasmine Crockett know what's coming. All the rest of y'all trying to keep stoic and don't worry, black women, y'all will be okay, and y'all know they not. That's what makes what y'all doing so egregious. Y'all know they not. I see you slightly try to moonwalk Kim Foster. You better move faster. You better tell black women they better get on a black man's program. I don't care about your pride, lady. Huh? Huh? It's done. F y'all pride. For the salvageable ones, it's debatable how many black women are salvageable. For the salvageable ones, y'all better tell them to get on a black man's program. Huh? Yikes. Huh? And TV says, where can I see Jasmine Crockett in Congress capping for black women, caping for black women, better yet? Because I have the, she would put Jasmine Crockett DEI, and she will be wearing red. She will have braids in, and she's gonna be she's gonna have her glasses. She's almost not gonna look like her, huh? She's gonna be. I think she had a red shirt on. Was it a red turtleneck? It might have been a red turtleneck if I remember. She had glasses on. Yeah. And then she kind of got into a little back and forth with a white male, I want to say Republican Congress member. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, about it. Right? Ah. Yeah, if you type in, as a matter of fact, let me see myself, and then I can tell you the truth. Give me a second. Haha, found it. Okay, here go one of the links. Yeah, she was wearing a red turtleneck, but she had like a grayish or like a super light gray or something like that blazer over it. But yeah, this is one of the links. So just look for her dressed like that. If you put Jasmine Crockett Diaz, gonna show you a bunch of links of different things, but just look for her dressed like this, and like all of those should speak to that. All right. And Vince says check the link. Z, give me a second. Give me a second. Thanks for that, Vince. It's going in the archive. It's going in the repertoire, right? It's going in the repertoire. We gonna use that. We gonna definitely have use for that. We gonna definitely have use for that. And it's like I said, if she's not on your program, ain't no point. And shout out to Ed yesterday. Um, to Ed, I don't know how many black women are gonna show that level of contrition. Because I don't know how many black women are fully aware of how much traitors they were. Huh? And I think there's still way too much space for them to hide and pretend like they didn't know for the ones that did know. Here's the funniest thing. I'll say this to Ed. Shout out to Edward Anderson. The women who did know what they were on are the ones that are least likely to apologize for anything. The women who didn't realize how game goofy they were and how they were being used, some of them enthusiastically, those are the ones that are more likely to be like, I'm sorry, black man, I didn't know I did this. But the ones who did this on purpose, oh yeah, you ain't gonna get nothing. They'd rather die under a bridge. Huh? And I'm saying this because some of them got it financially and they're gonna be straight. And they're the ones who's gonna keep I'm saying this now. Chrissy will probably continue to put salt in the game till death. Divested Zealot would probably continue to put salt in the game until death. Kim Foster looked like she's wavering a little teeny tiny bit. We'll see about that. We'll see. We'll see. But her pride still won't let her admit she was engaging in, and she said it a little bit. We'll give her that. She said it a little bit. She still didn't really say it, but she kind of implied it, that she engages in the BS. She's out here slinging mud with the rest of us. Huh? Chrissy will throw salt in the game till death. Divested Zealot will throw salt in the game until death. Cynthia G will throw salt in the game until death. Huh? Real talk with Yanni, we'll see. Huh? Ah. And L's actor says the majority of black women don't believe they betrayed black men. And when this comes to light, Z, most of them will cry and say sorry. And it's up to y'all whether Y'all want to take the accountable commentary route, the no reachbacks, whether it's a case by case basis or whether, yeah, because that's all it is. There is no mass yes. Mr. Z ain't with it. There is no fling the doors open, right? Put the gate to the moat down, right? Or the drawbridge, better yet, to the moat down. Nope, nope, nope. Accountable commentary said no reachbacks at all whatsoever. Ah, right? That's debatable. I don't know. But just flinging the doors open, yeah, nope. That one doesn't know for Z. Huh? Bruce Owen Wayne's with a no with accountable commentary. He said no reachbacks, no reach black. Y'all already know, right? And you go. By the way, talk about that. Yeah, you're gonna have divestors reaching back too. You're gonna have F it, I'll go deal with women. Some of them LGBTQ sisters, they're gonna reach back also. Because she don't got it, and the other women that she munching on or that's munching on her don't got it. Guess what? Both of them are gonna have to go back to dudes, including some of your butch ones. Oops. And shout out to Lion and L's actor says 2%, 200% tariff. Huh? Yikes. Y'all know what it is. And of course, and I agree with Jason Black. There's something he said on a stream a while ago now, maybe I don't know, 5, 6, 7 months ago. How many brothers are going to you will get that hey big head text or the not even the hey big head text. I'm framing that wrong. You're gonna start getting looks from women who would have never looked your way 5, 6 years ago, and you're gonna think it's you. Nah, bro, she desperate, bro. You're gonna think, okay, okay. I'm finally the it guy. Now that I'm 47, 52. Nah, bro. She done ran through every she's exhausted all other options. Winston Churchill. And I was it How I Met Your Mother? It might have been How I Met Your Mother. I want to say it was that. I was watching on Ole's third channel, I want to say. She covers pop stuff, right? And she usually says how this person was the worst or that person was the worst. So she covers Tony from Girlfriend. She covers Tracy Ellis Ross from Girlfriends. I forgot her character's name. She covers a couple of the some other characters from other shows. And one show she covered where this guy chased after the woman the whole series, and at the very end of the series, after she married the best friend, after she told him a million times, you should be with this woman, why are you chasing after me, she led him on. She did pipe sometimes, but at the very end of the series, after he had already got married and had kids and got divorced, she had got married, got kids, and got divorced. He finally got her at the very end after she exhausted all other options. Dear black men, do not be the one after she exhausted all other options. Goddamn, grow a backbone and some spine. And I'm not just saying that for black women. Don't be the one that these women lean on after she exhausted all other options. Goddamn, don't be that loser. Huh? Huh? Goddamn. Oh, and Demetrius says, link that vid about, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Demetrius says, link that video about the Disney execs admit to marketing to girls because they don't know what to tell boys. I got you. Give me 1 second. And it should be in the chat right now. There you go. There you go. Right. Oh boy. Man. Line says, make her hashtag make her fly. Right. Ah. Demetrius said, yes, I've been looking for this for a year. Look, Wisecrack got some dopes. By the way, the channel is kind of defunct now. Michael Burns has his own separate channel. So all the good stuff you see on that channel, download it, get it now before. Mr. Z is kind of saying this himself. There's a lot of good stuff. They cover love from a bunch of different angles. You're not going to agree with everything, especially if you're conservative, but they do reference philosophers. They do, like, as a matter of fact, Burns has a PhD in philosophy, so there's that. Really good stuff. Yeah, get you to think about things a little different, huh? Yikes. So yeah, give me a second. I'm just reading through some of you guys' comments. Yeah, but going back, don't be that guy, y'all. Don't be the guy that the Latinas or the white women or the black women lean on after they've exhausted all other options. Don't be that guy. Leave that for the white guys. Huh? Leave that for the white guys who go mess around like a dummy and marry these chicks broken as hell at 54 years old, and then she's still gonna divorce his ass at 65. Goddamn. Uh, don't be that guy, yo. Don't be that guy that throw her the lifeline at 56 years old, and then she still leave your ass by the time you like 67. Oh boy. Don't be that guy. Huh? No reach backs, no reach blacks. Exactly. Huh? Yikes. So we're gonna play these sound clips one more again because apparently Kamal Bell and Sibo Campbell really don't get it, even though their life is showing them. Huh? And by the way, I played them out of order. So the clip I played first was later on in the interview. The clip I played second was earlier. So that lets it, I played it like that for a reason because it speaks to Kamal Bell saying this is what he went through as a young black man. And then later on in the interview, him saying that Kimberly Crenshaw should be the next up, or at least a black woman like her, and Sibo saying, I believe in the matriarch. It's like, bro, y'all don't even realize what y'all saying after what y'all said earlier. Number one. Number two, your lives don't say that. Oops. Oh, that sound nice. But your lives don't say that. Ah, and Lion says, don't be the guy to pay for her tires when she wouldn't even give you a ride. Say that. Huh? Ah. So let me play these for you guys real quick. Here you go. Am I going to play it in order this time? Let's play it in order this time.
Sure. I mean, so I was working on a project, I don't know, it still may happen, but about the integration of the Boston Public Schools. And one of the things I came away with from reading about it, doing the research, was like, and this is funny, as a black man married to a white woman, and so this may come off, but like, it's funny, but it's just the way. Should integration have been the goal? Because when you talk about like, and black people of a certain age, let's say black people over the age of 60 at this one probably, can remember a time when their black neighborhood had its own black downtown with its own black businesses, where you went to the shoe shop that was owned by this black person, and you went to the grocery store that was the neighborhood grocery store that was not a chain, and and everything they needed was in their neighborhood, like when my mom grew up. So you didn't have to go to the white area town. So you didn't have to go to the white businesses because it was all in your neighborhood. And that meant that you got to see black people who were business owners, black people who were thriving. The problem is that the school is funded by property taxes, and because of redlining, the black property is not worth as much, even if it's basically the same as the white property. So the schools aren't funded that well. And so then they say, we're going to send you to the white schools, and you go to the white schools and find out this is what happened in Boston. They end up sending black kids in the worst neighborhoods to the worst white schools in the worst white neighborhoods. And so not only is this school maybe worse than your school, you're also getting your ass kicked every day. So it's like, can I just go back to my own school? At least those teachers liked me. You know what I mean? At least I could walk home every day instead of getting on a bus. And so for me, the question becomes, integration was the goal because they assumed that with integration came equity or came equality. And that's not what happened. That's not what happened.
Do you think that that's that the idea of focusing on the development of sort of the centralization of black communities is a thing that we should be moving towards now?
Yeah. So like I said, I did a lot. There's a school in Boston. Again, I know a lot about this Boston thing, but I haven't been to the school yet, but I want to go. That is a school it is a private school where for black boys, where the black boys go to school for free. So it is functioning as a private school, but it's all done through fundraising and donations. So these kids don't have to pay to the school. And I absolutely think there is a reason that you may want your black boy to go to a school with just black boys. Yeah, I absolutely 100%. And I also believe in non-binary trans. So I'm not saying that but I get you may have a black boy, and I've seen my kids. I have all girls, and I've seen how black boys at their school are treated differently because they're black boys. And I was also a black boy who went to private schools and public schools, and we go to was at a Catholic school, and my teacher was like, and there's 2 black kids in the class in my Catholic school in Mobile, Alabama, same class. Teacher goes, "Kamal, you're always standing up, walking around. I always see you walking around. Sit down." And I go, "But he's standing, she's standing." I pointed a bunch of white kids. That teacher grabbed me, the only time we grabbed me was and I was just suddenly shocked. I was suddenly in physical danger from this teacher because I was pointing out the obvious.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so I totally get why, as a black parent of a black boy, being in place of black boys are politically in this country, that you'd be like, I want to send my kid to school with black boys because they're going to treat him as an individual and also prepare him for the fact that the world is not just this school.
And frankly, while we're talking about centralized in America, if he ever leaves this country, we'll feel similar things no matter where he goes. Yeah. And you need to carry that with him.
That Black History Month is going to mean something different at a school with black boys than it means at a school, in an integrated school.
I mean, I have this affinity for the 60s.
So he says all that, right? He says all of that. Y'all heard correctly. Kamal Bell is an advocate for all boys schools for black boys, which we agree with over here. Because black boys have unique set of issues. He agrees with us. So y'all heard that correctly, right? And after he says, remember, he has all daughters. So he got I think he said 4 girls, something like that. Or is Mr. Z just hearing things? But he has all daughters. Let's say that. All daughters, but growing up as a black boy, he has a unique experience, and he can see how people are treating black boys around his daughter's ages differently than how they treat non-black children and black girls. So he still sees it going on. And even after Kamal said that, what does he then say?
Want to be.
Let me ask you this. I'll pose this question to you. In the event you had something dramatic happen in the country, and you had to find a black lady to get behind, is there anybody that's currently walking that you're like, I trust that this person has a vision for the future that both includes me and it would step us towards a better reality?
Let me put it this way. I have several people. They're all black women. Talk about it. It would be I would trust a council of and it just have to be the things I want to think of. The black women who I know who are doing the work are always thinking about it intersectionally, in a way that the rest of people, everybody else is sort of having to do consciously.
That's my fundamental belief. We're not going to argue this point.
But not that I don't think there are black men who couldn't do it, but I just don't think I think it is just, we've never turned it over fully to black women. And I would be happy to turn it over.
I think there are 2 things. One, I've always been of the belief that the country needs a matriarch. My family and all the families that I grew up with, even if the matriarch wasn't the breadwinner, that's who we all gathered around. You mean, right?
And there you go. Yeah. What about the money? That's like American capitalism. You think that if you make the money, you're most important. No. No. That's the person who figures out what do we do with this and how do we split up these resources. That's not always the person who makes the money.
Correct.
Yeah.
I gotta pause it right there. I'll continue. They say that, and then we watch our sons more and more categorically reject what the hell you talking about, Kamal. Our sons are running into asshole, mean, condescending, 1 foot in patriarchy, 1 foot in feminism ass, a la carte feminism, patriarchy by feminist specifications ass women. The young men are running into that. They're categorically rejecting what the hell you talking about. Capitalism make you think just because you make the money that you should be the leader. Oh, that sound nice. And your son said about that. Nope. We're not going to let your assholes, mean, rude, condescending, materialistic daughters run things while we fund it. I told y'all, fund it, you fund it, and she run it. I told y'all that's what they want. And your son said about that. See the way my paycheck and my manhood work? The way my paycheck and my manhood work? See, y'all, the way Kamal says it is like, we're going to have all these soft, dainty, kind women who are just going to direct you in the right direction, all soft and nice and kind with even tones. And when they make statements, it's going to actually sound like a question. There's going to be a whole lot of women like that running the country. Huh? And what Kamal sounds like is that he don't think it's going to be a whole lot of women that sound like this. No, Z, please, no.
As a man, if you don't have house core job, don't look for a woman with house core job. And for the men that complain about women that do that, look for a man that has all three and they don't have all three. We can do that. We are women. You want us. You need us. Y'all want one thing from us. And mad because we boss y'all around because you're a fucking servant. You're a provider, right? You're a protector, right? You're a security guard and you're a goddamn assistant. Know your place. Stop being contradicting and bow down. Because I'm sick of it.
Kamal, that's how the women sound. F all that airy-fairy crap you talking, including some white women, player. Yeah, some of the Latinas too. Believe it or not, maybe one or two Asian women. That's how they sound. All that crap, the women, the moral high ground, and the black women, even more high ground, and they're softer, and they're nicer, and they have a more... Everyone keeps on talking this crap, like just because you come out the womb XX chromosome, somehow you're more moral. Huh? You're not capable of vice. Shout out to Vince, shout out to Dr. Green Gorilla. Everyone's capable of virtue and vice. Everyone engages in virtue and vice. But somehow, when it comes to these women, their daughters, all of a sudden the men are the problem, but not the women. The boys, a little too rambunctious, a little too much. The women and the girls, on the other hand, well, the women and the girls sound like this.
If you are broke and I choose to deal with you, I will belittle you. It is what it is.
Huh? That's how they sound, Kamal. That's how they sound, Sibo. You know how else they sound?
I miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up.
Uh-oh. You want to know how else they sound? Matriarch, Sibo, you said matriarch, right? You want to know how they sound? When you even give them a glimpse that they might have to engage in that?
I'm submitting to no man that expect me to go 50-50. You want your wife to bear your children, cook, clean, work enough hours to handle big bills, and take care of you? You expecting me to pay big bills, baby? I'm gonna want some bussy when I get off of work. Fuck is you talking about? Bend that ass over. Let that bussy... There
go your matriarch.
This what you wanted, right? 50-50, right? And I do mean assume the position when I get off of work. As soon as I get off of work, that ass better be tooted up. As soon as he get up off me, I'm gonna look at him like, my turn. My turn.
Matriarch, right? That's what your matriarch think about being a matriarch. She's literally gonna take your manhood from you. Uh-oh. Huh? Matriarch, right? And to Kamal about well, you know, when we make more money, you know, in capitalism make you think. Let me show you how the women sound when you tell them that... What? You want to know how the women sound? Here you go.
Top tier. Your dick is not equal to my fucking pussies. Point blank period.
His dick ain't equal to your fucking bills neither.
God damn. Look, at the end of the day, I ain't
them bills got your name on it. They don't have his dick name on it.
At the end of the day, I ain't fucking no broke ass nigga. Do what you want with your pussy.
Yeah, you don't have to fuck no broke ass nigga.
Straight up.
Look, you can fuck a nigga that ain't broke. That's not a problem. But just because he ain't paying your bills, don't mean he fucking broke. That mean it ain't his goddamn responsibility. Your bills got your name on it. It don't have his dick name on it.
Okay, you're right. I land my plane.
You see how that mouth tighten up right there? That's when that...
Huh? All that talk sound nice. And yes, these are a bunch of clips of black women. It's not only black women on this. Once you start telling women that they're going to have to contribute and all that 50-50 stuff, and y'all didn't socialize them for that, oh, that part. This is how they sound. I keep on saying it. I gotta find the clip. BGS covered it a while ago. Where the sister pretty much said, I got all these degrees, I did this, and essentially she said she thought that that would allow for her to get top shelf men. That's what the women bought into. She would read every time she goes and gets another accolade that now allows for her to get a better man, a man that's better than her, by the way. I want to stress that before everybody start acting like they don't get it. No, not a man on her level, a man that's above her, but even more above her than her current position, well, her previous position, but yet. So if she was making $40,000 a year with a bachelor's degree, that would allow for her to get a $70,000 a year man with a master's degree. Now she got a master's degree and she's making 70. That should allow for her to get $250,000. God damn, Z, $250,000, $250,000 PhD man. Huh? Now she has a PhD and she's making $250,000 a year. God damn, Z, where you going with this? Now that should allow for her to have a $500,000 million dollar man. Huh? Who's president of the university? God damn. Huh? Y'all think Mr. Z lying? Okay, yeah, that's it. The only way you can escape that is if you have a whole lot of status, or you're super good looking, or maybe super tall, or super tall and good looking. Maybe the financial requirement won't be so great. Yikes. Huh? Demetrius, I don't have it up. I don't have it up. Let me see. As a matter of fact, do I? I don't have it up. That would have been a great clip to play for real. Dr. Anne-Marie Slaughter. I don't have it up. Wait a minute. Nope, I don't. Damn it. I need to keep that like standard. But yeah, I need to keep that one. But there's other ones that I don't ever delete, right? And I need to keep that. Talking about that, and Demetrius says, I hope that Putin doesn't do anything unimaginable, crazy exit strategy on Ukraine because death is nearly around the corner. Ukraine just effed up. Just F up. Yeah. Well, either way, I'm less so worried about Ukraine than I am about Ukraine and definitely Russia. Talking about that, I'm less so worried about Russia and more so worried about China and America in the slugfest. And what that's gonna mean for Black people in America in particular, and that does mean a streamlining of the economy. I said this before, right? All that excess money, that liquidity in the system, in the market, all the loose money that corporations and the U.S. government was able to throw around to just keep people quiet, to give women, mainly women, some men, but mainly women, BS jobs just to push papers and feel like they was doing something. And believe it or not just government jobs, funny enough. Remember all the tax cuts and tax write-offs some of these corporations would be able to engage in? That's because they were looking out for the government by just hiring these women that really wasn't doing much of anything. That part, oops. And so now the money drying up, and with automation, and with the faster, better software systems and AI, it's about to hurt. It's about to hurt a lot of us. Not just the women, but mainly the women, including Black women. We still live in an anti-Black society. I don't care what Anton I'm talking about. Huh? So Black women, you're about to feel this. Huh? Black women, you about to feel, you better believe it. That's why you got the sister now talking like this.
Black women, they are doing the same thing to us that they did to Black men 40 years ago, which is pushing us out of the workforce. That's what they did to Black men. And that is what caused the major divide within our community with regards to the gender wars. We saw Black men the way they wanted us to see them because they didn't have the upward mobility that we had because of our jobs that we were able to get in the federal government. For one, the federal government was one of the biggest job employers for Black women, and they're pushing us out left and right. We lost more jobs last month than any other demographic, and those jobs are not coming back. And if they come back, they're not going to give them to us. I don't care what degree you got. Because you can see right now, they don't care nothing about those degrees. Soon as we started getting it, it ain't mean anything anymore. I say this to say we gonna have to work with black men. Whatever grief you got with black men, get over it. It's time for us to work together. We need them and they need us, and this is just more proof of that.
I don't know about that they need us part of the game, ma'am. With that, you see how they sound? At least one of them, and let's be clear, she not the only one. Huh? If she get it, a whole lot of other women get it. If she gets it, so does Kim Foster. Uh-oh. Huh? If she gets it, so does Kim Foster. If she gets it, so does Dr. Times. Yikes. Right? Yikes. So I want to stress that the game done changed on their ass, y'all. The ladies are going to have to move different. They're going to have to talk different. And it's up to y'all whether y'all want to take the reach back or not. For most, I don't suggest it. Anyway. Huh? Yikes. It's real out here. So while Sibo's talking and Kamal's talking, and they literally describe why they're not with black women, yikes. Huh? And how intersectionality affects black men and boys, what it means to be black and male. And then and then say, you know what, Kimberly Crenshaw, yeah, she should be the next up. Yeah, I believe in matriarchy. Meanwhile, Sibo ain't touched nothing black. Huh? White ex-wife, mixed children. Now I got a mixed woman. Kamal, white wife. Yeah, that sound nice. All that sound nice. All that, I believe in matriarchy. I believe that we should hand it over to black women. Yeah, maybe went back in like 70 years ago. Nope. And with how they managed the black community over the past 60, 70 years, I don't think you really want to do that. Huh? So I definitely want to stress that this sounds nice. This is some good virtue signal talk. Roosh, thank you for the or Rush, I think it is. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for having me cover this. I definitely see what she was talking about. Yeah, but that Kimberly Crenshaw part, I was like, wait, what? Especially after what they described before, especially after what Kamal described with his upbringing and some of the, well, at least one story that he gave us. I'm like, wait a minute, but you just described the plight of black boys and men. You don't even appreciate how Kimberly Crenshaw's intersectionality, but not neglected that, how they saw the upward mobility of black boys and men as an attack on them. They're the ones who saw it as a zero-sum game. You don't even appreciate that. You just described one of your kind of traumatic horror stories. Wow. That's frightening. Huh? That's frightening. So, you know, y'all sometimes brothers be going through it. They literally experiencing this thing and they still don't get it. Huh? So not all of us are going to be up on game. You know, that is train tracks. That is what it is. Not all of us are going to be up on game, even when we're experiencing certain things, even when we have experienced certain things. We just don't get it, or we refuse to get it, or, you know. Yikes. Huh? So with that, hopefully I did Roosh justice with this coverage. I guess we'll do that more often. Y'all just, you know, y'all already know, send me an email, or like Roosh should send the super chat with it. So I definitely had to cover it. I wanted to cover this yesterday, but y'all already know, got kind of caught up and preoccupied on BGS's stream. Couldn't do it this morning. Reckless, but couldn't be reckless earlier this morning. Y'all already know. Don't put it in the comments. Do not put it in the comments. So but yeah, no, this was good. I'm gonna check out some other stuff on that channel because I think I saw another one I want to cover. I might want to cover something I saw from FD. Also, I see what you're doing over there, Ole, and shout out to Ole. Ole's using pop culture in movies and television shows to kind of reel back some of the women, I think, and get her coin also. The way she covered Tracy Ellis Ross character on Girlfriends and the way she covered Tony on Girlfriends, I think she pretty much said these were horrible people and they were horrible friends to each other. And like, what's her name was Joan? I think that was her name, right? Tracy Ellis Ross character in the show. Excuse me. Joan was jealous of Tony. Tony was jealous of Joan. Yeah, all different and how Joan treated the actor dude, I forgot his name in the TV show, but yeah, the actor brother in the TV show and all that good stuff. And yeah, like but you know, and reading through the comments of and I guess I gotta put the link in the description box now because I'm describing these things. Reading through the comments, you saw a lot of black women like, yeah, Tony was my girl, but yeah, she was a little toxic. Like, stop, bro. A lot toxic. A lot. Some of y'all are just like her. Oops, right? A lot toxic. Y'all like to play woe is me after the fact, but y'all just like her. Huh? Yikes. So yeah, and there's a lot of stuff about the television show. You know, Mr. Z. I was a child when that show was out, so you know. But yeah. So I think there might be an ending of a chapter and a beginning of a chapter. I don't want to be too hyperbolic with that. I don't want to be too on the nose with that. I think things are changing, and these women are going to have to get their mind right or struggle and starve. And let's be very clear. You're going to have to watch some of them struggle and be okay with watching them struggle and know it's their own damn fault. I want to be very clear. With the way Z speaks, with the way a number of us speak, with the FDs of the world and the conscious leads of the world, if you see a black woman and she really out here struggling bad and got nobody, you have to appreciate that's what she wanted for her own life. She called the universe or God or whatever you believe in bluff. If I can't have this, I don't want nothing. And the universe or God or whatever you believe in said, I bet. And there you go. Huh? Huh? All the real talk with Yannies, I would rather be alone, but you don't got the money to do it. All of those, the universe said, I bet. Z, you gonna play it? Uh-oh.
Decenter men. This is not coming from a place of hurt, trauma. This is coming from a place of peace and happiness. And I just remember when I used to go out, and I used to just go out just to have a good time, laugh, great conversations, and just being a personality. My personality wasn't about getting a man. It was just about having fun. And I just want to get back to that. I just want to get back to me. And I'm tired of social media. I'm wanting to decenter men, decenter social media. And I just want to just be about me. I want to be selfish and self-centered as an ex-people pleaser, because everything nowadays is about getting a man, keeping a man, having a man's baby. And it's just too much. And I'm just getting nauseous. Just thinking about it. There has to be more to life than just men. And so now that I have these centered men for my life, I find myself actually having a good time. I go out in social settings. The objective isn't to get numbers, to get a man, to get a date. It's just to have great conversation. And I've been enjoying myself. I have. You know, I'm flirting. I'm having amazing conversations, meeting new people. And I'm just keeping it at that. And I like that. I feel in control, and I like how I have this I don't give a fuck attitude. And it's just very freeing. Whereas before, it was all about getting a man and hanging around women that wanted to go out just to get attention and to get a man. And it's just so exhausting. But now I actually go out. I'm actually having a great time. And I like it. I love it here, actually. I'm just tired of these videos. It's a man, it's a woman telling you, get a man, you need a man. You're gonna die alone. And I like being alone. I like it. It's peaceful. And this decentering men thing, I think it's necessary because a lot of women are exposing themselves to like temporary relationships just because they're listening to people online. And I don't know, I think it's kind of cute. I think it's funny because I'm a woman that actually enjoys being alone, right? I enjoy my aloneness. I think it's funny because some women feel like they're one-upping you because they have a temporary relationship. And I'm like, but your relationship is temporary. Even the women with rings, your marriage is temporary. Like, it's not lasting. It didn't last. A lot of women are in situationships, temporary relationships, friends with benefits, temporary relationships. They're just in these temporary relationships because social media is telling them that they need a man, or they should get a man, or hurry up, girl, better get your man before you hit the wall. It's like, it's just too much. And now I have moved to a space where I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And it feels so good because I just don't give a fuck. And nobody is going to force me to give a fuck. And I like it. And another thing, when it comes to this decentering men, I have embraced my masculine. I've embraced my feminine side. I've embraced my light feminine. I've embraced my dark feminine. I've embraced all of myself. And I love that for me.
Right? All that sound nice. But y'all saw when she lost it. All that sound nice. Huh? Cue up the clip from 6-7 years before that when she was pretty much saying that she gonna go out here and make herself more available and go out here to look for a man and all this other stuff. I guess it ain't work out right. And now she sound like this. So with the Kamal Bells of the world, with the Sebos of the world, if black women sounded like this, yeah, no, ma'am, you are miserable. You might have money and might be miserable. You might be traveling, but you still miserable. You know how we know? Because the non-black women are giving it up, and you better believe if the non-black women are saying it, black women say it too. They feel it too. They just not saying it to us. And how do they sound?
I did everything they said that was going to make me happy. I built a career. I got my own place. I went on solo trips like a pro. The best hotels, flying business, you name it, right? The works. And I stayed independent. But no one told me about how lonely I was going to be on those trips. Being successful looks really good on the outside, but, and I'm proud of everything that I did. Don't get me wrong. Like, alhamdulillah, I'm very proud of all of my accomplishments, but it was very lonely. I feel very lonely all the time. Success doesn't check in on you when you're spiraling at home. Doesn't check in with you when you're having a bad day, doesn't check in with you when or just when you miss your family back home. Don't get me wrong, being strong got me very far in my career, and I'm very proud of everything that I've done, but I'm done pretending that I'm okay, because I'm not.
Yep. Huh? Oh boy, and she's not the only one that was pulling that. Y'all know this clip. Z play this all the time.
Look at me. If you were a single woman in Charlotte, North Carolina, look at me, okay? I was feeling great about myself. I was like, I'm a bad bitch. I'm single. I don't need no man. I actually really would love a man, and I do need a man. But just, this is what we say when we're single and we just want to. Anyway, focus, Medina. Look at.
Huh? Yikes. So shout out to Kamal Bell and Sebo Campbell. All that sound nice. Huh? That matriarchy talk sound nice. The fact that y'all don't appreciate that's what we've had. I'm saying, these are the brothers y'all sometimes run into the barbershop and they looking at you like you crazy. You're like you the sexist, misogynistic freak. Because they so not up on game. They just not. They're just not. And then they meet a Kimberly Crenshaw. They're like, oh my God. She's so right. Like we haven't been living through, especially in the black community, the intersectional regime for, I don't know, decades. Huh? And the rest of America had something to say about that intersectional regime. Huh? And weaponizing intersectionality. Well, really against white men. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. White men said, "Yeah, about that. Nope, we're not those Negroes." And Negroes ain't the word they was using. You can use intersectionality to benign neglect those Negroes over there. Once again, Negroes wasn't the word they were using, but not us. Huh? And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Detroit says, shout out to the U.S. petrodollar. The death of it. My work is almost successful. And now I'm enjoying, I think you said, this burn. So what y'all getting today? Taco Bell? Hysterical. Oh man, look, the end of the U.S. petrodollar is gonna hurt all of us in the U.S. unless you have investments, and they better be really good. You better be doing really, really well. But yeah, the loss of the potency of the U.S. dollar will raise the price of just about everything because no longer will certain things be subsidized. Yeah, so that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Huh? Yikes. So yeah. So Mr. Shakti says, Z, just admitted you dusty Negroes haven't been educated properly, apparently. Apparently, we not worshiping at the altar of these broken weirdo women in general, black women specifically. The materialistic, consumerist, entitled brats, right? So with that, hopefully I did the brother Roosh some justice. Hopefully I did. Y'all give Z a second. Let me see something I want to. Yep. So hopefully, I don't see him in the comments. So hopefully he catches this on the replay. Shout out to the replay gang. Replay gang. No, I did not forget about you, Chief Rocka. Did not forget about you. Oh, before we end out, we got to make sure. The link pinned is Roger's new channel. Spoke to him a little bit earlier. He's all right. He's doing okay. He's gonna be streaming tomorrow. So y'all look out for the Roger report. 10 p.m. Eastern time, so 9 p.m. Central time. I'm saying 9 p.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. Central time. 9 a.m. The 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central time. There you go, Z. Jesus. Right, Z over here messing it up. My bad, Raj, if you're listening. Right, so the Roger report, he's all right. I guess he'll tell you what he needs to tell y'all tomorrow. But he should be streaming tomorrow. Once again, Z, say it right this time. 9 a.m. Central time. There you go. 10 a.m. Eastern time. There we go. There y'all go. It should be pinned. It's pinned in the comments, isn't it? The top of the comments should have it. Right? Let me make sure I pinned it. Right? So y'all go ahead and check that out. He should be streaming tomorrow, and he'll give y'all the details of what he want to tell y'all and give y'all tomorrow with that. And on that note, y'all, hopefully Rush appreciates this. Yeah, that when he said Kimberly Crenshaw, when the question was asked, and Z didn't even finish that. Let's actually finish that. We'll end out with that. We'll start it over and we'll end out with that. When the question was asked and he said Kimberly Crenshaw, Z was like, wait, who? What? And here we go, y'all.
Make some money.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the person who
want to be.
Let me ask you this. I'll pose this question to you. In the event you had something dramatic happen in the country, and you had to find a black lady to get behind. Is there anybody that's currently walking that you're like, I trust that this person has a vision for the future that both includes me and it would step us towards a better reality?
Let me put it this way. I have several people. They're all black women. Talk about it. It would be like, I would trust a council of and not, it just have to be the things I want to think of. The black women who I know who are doing the work are always thinking about it intersectionally, yes, in a way that the rest of people, everybody else is sort of having to do sort of like consciously.
That's my fundamental belief. We're not going to argue this point.
But like fundamental, not that I don't think there are black men who couldn't do it, but I just don't think I think it is just, we've never turned it over fully to black women. And I would be happy to turn it over.
I think there are two things. One, I've always been of the belief that the country needs a matriarch. Like, I mean, my family and all the families that I grew up with, even if the matriarch wasn't the breadwinner, that's who we all gathered. You mean, right?
And stereo, yeah. What about the money? That's like American capitalism makes you think that if you make the money, like you're most important. No, it's no. That's the person who figures out what do we do with this and how do we split up these resources. That's not always the person who makes the money.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the person who takes the whole line of you and helps you move forward. And so I agree with you. In the book I just wrote, when they reach the utopia or mobile, it's the queen.
I gotta read this book.
You gotta read. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, oh, they really are on Dover Street.
Yeah.
But
have you been to Mobile?
Of course.
Okay, you said you've been to
That's right. He says. But the whole thing is a council of women.
Yeah.
And the queen runs it. And even the king, when he's confronted by someone, he goes, "Have you ever played chess? The strongest thing on the board is the queen. It's not the king. Go talk to her." And it's all about operating like you've gathered around the matriarch.
So yeah. So for me, when I think about this Black Council, the person who's at the head of the table is Professor Kimberly Crenshaw.
All right.
Because literally the one of the scholar who sort of came up with, who sort of like concretized the idea of intersectionality, legal scholar. She also was one of the people who was there in the room when they were saying critical race theory, and as a legal practice, not as a boogeyman that is turned into. But she is somebody who thinks intersectionally easily about all this stuff. Like for example, there was the religious figure who sort of like spoke to Trump during after the inauguration, was like basically saying you can't be so like you have to lead through more kindness. And, and I ran to her, Professor Crenshaw. She was like, all that, everybody was celebrating this person, unashamedly. And she was like, all that she said, she never talked about racism, or she sort of pointed out the things that she didn't say. I was like, you're making a good point. So like, and I think that she would, if I put her, if she just was in charge of the whole country, she would then assemble the people. If she wanted some dudes, she could get some dudes, but like, I would put her in the driver's seat. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I like I said, I completely agree. I did not know who she was until you just said that name.
Really? Well, first of all, high five to you for, I'm big of admitting not knowing anything. So Professor Kimberly Crenshaw, she is the person who was like, did critical race studies with Derek Bell, and was the person who's credited with coming up with the concept of intersectionality as a legal term of like Black women in the law are experiencing things as Black women, not because they're Black and because they're a woman, but because they're collectively a Black woman means different than something that is as a collective just them between a Black and a woman.
There was a paper written, I want to say it was in the maybe like 60s or 70s, called the Combahee River.
Oh yeah, collective. Yeah.
Combahee River Collective.
And it was basically that. It was like the experience of being Black and the experience of being woman. Each of those things are distinct and you need to have a position. And it suggested that the elevation of that position elevates everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think that that if what's good for Black women is good for America.
Can we put that on a slogan?
We can't. I mean, we just did. I think we just, yeah, fine with me. That's t-shirts, these slogans. Yeah. So I think that that until this country sort of understands that it's not where, we are, I think it's certainly made complicated. Like, I also was like, when Kamala Harris was running for president, there's my lefty chats about normie Democrat, not significantly better on Palestine than the Republicans are. And then there's my black women who are like, we have to rally. Yeah. We have, no matter what. Biden needs to know. And I to be honest with you, I sort of lived on both sides on that one because I was like, listen, I want it. Yes. I'm going to eat these greens, even though they got ham in it. These greens. But I'm only doing it one time. Right. I'm only doing it on this one Tuesday in November, and then we got to talk about getting the ham outside of my greens. No, for sure.
Yeah, y'all. I was reading through you guys' comments. I was holding a laugh talking about that. And Terrell says Miatas, going to the questions. Who asked what cars do they drive? What cars do you think they drive? And look, put some respect on a Miata's name. And you don't want to see a Miata on the racetrack. With corners, you don't want to see a Miata on the racetrack with corners. They move. Right? They move. Put some respect on a Miata's name, Terrell. Some respect. So once again, I played that so y'all can hear that not all black men are up on game. They're still, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, behind in the conversation. They don't get it, right? They're in their bubbles. They are in their bubbles, y'all. Not all black men are up on game. That's why all of this quote unquote manosphere talk, they just late. They have bought into what the women said. The men are all sexist, misogynistic monsters. Huh? Patriarchal tyrants. Right? So y'all heard what they say. Y'all heard Kamal. You heard Sibo. Sibo over here talking about matriarchs. Matriarchy. And Kamal over here is speaking about handing the country over to women like Kimberly Crenshaw about that. And what exactly has intersectionality done for black men and boys? Anything positive, I'll wait. So on that note, y'all, we will pause right here. Truly, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. Right? I wanted to play that. We'll end out on that. I wanted to play that for y'all so y'all can hear it for yourselves. Shout out to Rush. I want to say Roosh. I want to say Rush, but it's Rush. Shout out to Rush. Hopefully you get this. If not, and I'll send it to him through email also. And next time we'll cover and we'll talk about something else. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.